Hi, I'm Paul. The old Nickelodeon. What do you mean? I'm Paul. I'm right here. What are you talking about? It's me. I'm Paul. Paul continues to be MIA. I'm the only one here. Invite a friend and start chatting. Well, I'd like to, but I don't know where the big man is. I'm assuming his wife is more important than the podcast. Who would have guessed? I just realized that I misinformed somebody on. So for those that don't know, we have like a Discord of like content creators in the league space, uh, and I accidentally misinformed somebody on something that they were trying to learn about. So that's on me. Somebody said about a jump cut or like a frame skip. And when you talk about like frame skip, I think like you're missing frames within like an individual video, like a like a video that's like 8 seconds long, but like you chop it up so it's kind of like blurry throughout, like a time loop feature in a way. They were just talking about like cutting out dead space, which my bad. Whoops. Sorry, brother. That's on me. But what can you do? Sabotaging his competition to farm drama on Twitter and TikTok. I'll just give you guys a heads up. Unless Paul wants to talk about it, I ain't talking about the reckless thing. I have the opinion that whatever people think that you need to like speak out to like cancel the guy, he ain't cancelable. Better off just not giving him attention. I think Wooloo was actually right on that one. Too many connections, too many people around. He ain't going anywhere just because he makes a video that people don't like that is like a character attack on somebody. Like he ain't going anywhere. Don't talk about it. Don't give it any more publicity than it's worth. That's it. So that's just I know people have different opinions, but that's all I'm gonna say on it unless Paul wants to talk. Then we'll talk. Paul wants to if you know it's something that he's passionate about and wants to mention, then fine. Let me make sure Paul didn't die. Just making sure you didn't lose a leg. He might come in here at some point. Who knows? Do you hear? I don't. Yeah, I don't really care. Unless it's hating on Bo for missing pros and getting a tattoo. That's, you know. Uh-oh. There he is.
Yeah, my Discord was updating.
No.
Took long as it could take though with whatever this hotel internet is not.
Are you in
Didn't like it, I guess.
the red room of pain from like 50 Shades of Grey? Or is that just the camera lighting?
Probably just the camera. I think it's orange. I think it's just the camera.
Okay, because it looks like blood red. Like
I think it's there's like a ball on this. It has my face super orange.
yeah, dude,
Lights.
it's like it's like you and the room got like that pre-prom orange glow spray tan that every girl gets.
I don't really know what to do because 2 light bulbs in there. There's only 1 light bulb. I was gonna unscrew one.
I also wouldn't unscrew it whenever yeah, I mean it really doesn't matter.
Honestly, that makes me look less like I have a liver disease, so I'm gonna leave it like that.
Don Jake just said guy on the left might have jaundice.
Yep.
So how you been? Haven't chatted with you in a bit.
Oh, pretty good. Pretty good. I'm in Missouri right now.
Missouri.
I go home tomorrow night though, and then I have drill this weekend.
Oh
I have
boy.
drill on Super Bowl Sunday, so
Really?
yeah, it's gonna be an interesting Sunday.
All right, like, are you gonna get done in time to watch the game or no?
I I mean, I hope. You would think America would understand what Americans want, but who knows? I mean, that would be crazy if they just don't give us that the
I mean,
Super Bowl on
I
time.
don't think all Americans know what we want. There's gonna be
True.
LCS playing when the Super Bowl's on, so
That's a good point. My my team plays that day. Dang.
do you guys have the early or late game? I legitimately have not checked. I
I
don't
don't
know the
even know.
schedule. I know nothing about what is happening this weekend because I will not be watching.
I know what blows my mind even more is there's a best of one like seeding game too after
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, you got
Like they
that 10
really
o'clock
just
game.
left it all. Like honestly, they could have played on a Monday and it would have made more sense. I'm gonna try this light and see if it
Yeah,
helps
that
at
shows
all.
the orange of the wall behind a little bit better.
And then maybe do one of these. Not to be too professional. Moved myself more towards the window, lighting better. Yeah, don't want to brag.
You got a cuck chair in there or no?
Yeah, you can go look in general. The angle is it's just diabolical angle for a cuck chair.
Is that in
It's
general?
so bad. Yeah. You gotta scroll up a bit because Khan had some nasty, nasty
Oh,
shots.
Jesus Christ. That is a chair and a half.
Yeah, the positioning, the view, none of it is right.
Hold on, let me put this in game. This has to be like the worst hotel cuck chair I
Oh
think I've
yeah, it's so
ever
bad.
seen in my life. Dear God, is that tragic? But yeah, I don't have to watch this
I
weekend.
mean,
My team's already oh, Colin said Shopify's the early game. So you guys might be done by the Super Bowl. You get 2-0 before it's all said and done.
yeah, I'll be driving home again from drill during a Shopify game. That
I'm
happened, dude. I don't even know how it's so close. Because the opening week, I listened to the Shopify games on YouTube. Like I couldn't even watch them live. I just had to listen because I was driving back. But
I mean, I've been
I will.
there. I listened to I was driving back from seeing Emily within like the
Mhm.
first year of us dating whenever Optic won their X Games gold medal. And I had like the
Okay.
YouTube video playing so I could like listen to the audio but could not watch on like my 7-hour drive back to North Carolina.
Yep. It's it's tough. I mean, I don't think it won't be the end of the world having to listen to. I am worried about how viewership's gonna go. Uh,
Oh, it's gonna be bad.
that it's Super Bowl Sunday. I mean, earlier, uh, I think I think Blue put the number like last year we only lost 5% on Super Bowl Sunday, but I think with the fact that we're losing international interest pretty hard, I'm interested to see, I guess. I
Yeah.
have no idea which way it'll go, but that I'm guessing the number gets worse than it
I'm
does better with more locals.
I think that first series might not be bad, but that
Mhm.
second one, like I don't expect that to hit top 5 at all
No,
on in
no.
viewership. Like it's not even gonna it's gonna be bad. But we'll see. Maybe here's my problem. If if viewership actually remains stable, does that mean that we have basically no American audience? Or is that
I would
indicative of
say
like league community just genuinely not watching football at all?
it means more than anything we have a non-sports following audience, which would make sense. I mean, with how people react in studio, but I it doesn't make sense to me. Maybe it's just the crowd you attract, but in this Discord, in LTA Discord, there's not many Discords I'm in where people don't ever talk about football that also has a lot of league overlap.
Yeah.
And I'm just not sure how they don't see that. I know the Valorant game is what they're worried about,
Yeah.
but I just don't think that's worth. I think you have to
Well,
like
I mean, what they would get angry, or they not they would worry that we would get angry that we would be in the side studio on Saturday again
Yep.
while Valorant gets in the main studio. So we would have 1 day in the entire first split, or like 2 days in the entire first split in the actual live crowd studio. That's why they did it.
Yeah. Which they're lucky, I guess, in some ways that the studio's small enough. I think they can still have a decent crowd there. But I mean, how good can it really be if the Super Bowl's on? Like, it's more than just playing on the Super Bowl, I feel like. It's also the partying, just all the things that go on with the Super Bowl.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna be
It's
drunk.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
it's
I
an
hope
American
I hope
event.
people
Like,
understand. I'm gonna be, but when Kendrick comes on, I plan to be like at that stage where like when the white girl music hits in the club, you go nuts. That's where I'm gonna
mhm,
be whenever Kendrick finally like performs. Then you can chill.
yep.
Like the good thing is by the time you hit the fourth quarter, you're sobering up enough to the point where like you can actually focus on the game again.
Yeah. And I mean I don't know many people. It's almost like playing games on Christmas. Like
Yeah,
only the NBA can kind of get away with it. I feel like, well, the NFL can do it
you
once,
can
but
have one or two things, but you cannot have more than that.
yeah, yeah. Like the Super Bowl is almost, I guess, bigger than that for TV wise. Because I mean, I don't feel like there's gonna be a ton of people playing on their phone. Maybe there will be. I mean, I'll listen to the Shopify stuff if I'm driving home. But if I'm already home by then, I feel like I'm going over to my parents because I'm both watching the Super Bowl there and kind of helping them move because they have a lot going on. They're moving closer to where I live, so
Yep.
that's gonna be nice. But I don't know. Um,
We gotta take a victory lap though
I'm a little salty
before we
on it.
get to like that series. You gotta give me my
Yeah,
flowers. I want to hear you compliment me. I ain't gonna beg for it.
Quid is
I'm just
nice.
gonna demand the give me attention.
I'll say my pick'ems. I think last year I really peaked, and this year I'm fighting, but we'll see. You got me there, and then I mean, 100 Thieves. Like this was my bro. If your president just hadn't said that stupid line, or he said go cheer for somebody else, I was so into your team simply because FBI went over there, and I thought he would make you marginally better enough to be like a hype team. And I mean, I wasn't too positive that Quid would continue just being insane, but the man just keeps getting better every
Yeah.
year. So you were like right there to be my choice if your president didn't choke it. And I go with Shopify, who I'm still happy with Shopify. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm watching like you guys just have Quid, who's so good, and having the best mid laner is like huge deal in League.
It is so because
Huge
like
deal.
the problem for 100 Thieves for years was like we could not find the
Hmm.
guy in mid, and even like Abadage, like he had like a really insane peak whenever he came in, but even after that, it was like okay, brother's not like we were better than like the sum of our parts, but like we've never had like a best in the entire league mid laner,
Hmm.
hands down, bar none, in 100 Thieves franchise history, and now we do. Like there
Yep.
is no, I mean, we got to see the matchup with Quad for sure. I think Quad still like because we have not played FlyQuest. Uh, Quad still technically gets that title because of Worlds and how they handled playoffs against us. But like performance right now, there's nobody better in North America than Quid. None.
Yeah, I don't think you can even make a case for there to be somebody better than Quid. I mean, he's like hard carrying you guys through bad sniper lanes
Yeah.
consistently.
Sniper ran
Like,
it down again
yeah,
against it. Well, I
yeah,
don't know.
it just doesn't matter.
No. And it's just like Quid is out. Dude, think about like if Sniper was good at laning or like wouldn't like get so far behind in these lanes, dude, we'd be killing people. We'd be like G2 2019 just mopping the floor with folks right
Mhm.
now.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Sniper, I mean the thing is, if he can put it together in lanes, it does get really nasty because I mean Ayla is just playing way better. I
Oh,
don't know what's I mean I guess I do know what's going on really. You put him with a better ADC Like it helps people
Yeah.
develop quicker and better. I mean, Masu and Busio, like they've been just pushing each other way better, and instead of putting two young guys together like them and seeing if they can rapid develop to meet the veterans, you guys went and got a veteran. Went, hey, he's not really young, but he's been up and down in his early couple of years. He's had some weird roster changes and stuff. Ayla's never had a consistent team, and you give him a guy who's just pretty consistent most of the time and is coming off of a down year where I really don't think he's that bad. I just think his team was crumbling around
Yeah.
him, and he looks fine again. Looks completely fine.
I will also say I think Fearless helps us.
Yeah,
I think we directly benefit more than like everybody was saying that Fearless was going to be our weakness because of our champion pool, and it's like I think Fearless helps us because we don't have to worry about like if Sniper can't play into Kasante, guess what? It's one game, and then congrats, like we move on to the next thing, and it's like maybe it's
yep,
not, maybe it was never our champion pool, maybe it was because we struggle against like particular matchups and don't have whether that's like the inability to like overcome against some of the top teams some of those picks, but like Fearless solves that. So I don't know. I'm happy as shit. First seed going into it. I wouldn't say that we're favorites in Brazil yet. Think FlyQuest, assuming they 2-0 this weekend, still gets that title despite losing to Cloud9. But
hmm
uh, yeah, it's not even close that FBI and Quid are playing absolutely insane. Stinky in chat said FBI and Quid lead the league in KDA with a 7.6 and 7.5 respectively. One of those being over Cloud9, which I will give Sniper's credit. Sniper played well against Dantos. It's the one top laner that for whatever reason he does fine against, but everybody else, uh,
yeah.
little iffy.
I mean, I could see how, yeah, it actually does help you with Fearless simply because, like, well, he said Sniper's losing regardless, so who really cares there if he gets worse matchups as the games keep going? And you're pushing the other top laner down his pool, so it should just get theoretically easier for the rest of the team to deal with whatever he lets win. And then the rest of your laners are like, or the rest of your players have pretty deep pools.
Yeah.
Other than like Ayla's, the only unknown. But
I
it
mean, but
seems
even
like
that,
Ayla
he
does have a
was the
deep
first
pool.
person to pull out
Yeah.
Elise. So, and it
Yeah,
looked
it seems
up
like he
until he
does.
ran it a little bit in the mid game, he was hitting every skill shot
Yeah,
he needed
which
to early on.
which is fine because I mean that's a pretty early game support pick. You pick it, you get what you need, and then you move on. I mean, he gets to his. Well, I wasn't watching the game live. I was listening to that one because I was working.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna assume he went Storm Surge or something.
He, I
I don't
don't
know what the
remember.
support
I just
build
know he
is.
was hitting every cocoon, like
Yeah.
every single one early on. He started off like 3-0, and I was like, dude, he couldn't miss. And then he had like one fuck up in mid lane when him and
Yep.
FBI tried to kill, I think it was APA or I don't know, somebody else rotated the mid, but he fucked it up just a little bit, and then kind of started chain running it a little bit from there on out, getting one tap by Zyra on the other side, but then corrected it by the end, figured it out.
Yep. Which I mean, you pick those early game cheese support picks, kinda. You're picking to try to do that. I mean, you're trying to figure out how to get people early and do all that fun stuff, and he did it right. He knew his role. I mean, the mid game of cheese picks is probably always going to be one of the weirder parts because you have to navigate like how do you quit taking so much gold from your ADC, but also simultaneously trying to stay relevant on a champ that's like low key kind of gimmicky.
Yeah, kind of
So
like done once you get past a certain point.
yeah, I mean yeah, because you start to hit that tier where like ADCs, aren't really as worried about it. The mid laner's not worried about it. The jungler can deal with it, and the top laner can crush it, and so it is what it is.
Yeah.
But
We had a few fights where FBI like was ulting into a Galio to try and like kill him. I was like, brother, you do not have that much damage this
yep,
early on. You don't need to be
yep,
like running straight at him. We could take our time a little bit with it.
yep.
But
But overall, you guys, I mean, you played probably the best that roster. I'm just gonna pretend like the ADC hasn't really changed. The best that roster's played the past year. Like you guys are really, really starting to ramp up, which might be a little early, I guess, to ramp
Yeah.
up, but it's no big deal. I mean, if you can keep your form the whole year, it's fine. Which I mean, the way Quid is playing, I don't really know if there's going to be a fall off point, like knock on wood, but you would assume he just keeps continuing to be that solid player, and the rest of the guys just ramp up.
Well, I mean, we'll find out pretty quick because I think that fall off point will come immediately in that first series down in Sao Paulo.
Mhm.
That'll be when we find out. Going into like a completely different place, playing in a hostile environment against a team that is going to actively be booing you and against you. Like,
Yep,
this is what we talk about all the time with Quid when it comes to new environments. He struggles the first time that he's in them. Now,
true.
whether Worlds taught him enough on how to get over that and how to deal with the nerves that will exist in that moment because now the pressure is on you, I don't know. We'll see. But for the time being, that's the one where I'm looking at. If Quid keeps performing at this level, though, I mean, there's a chance that we could take the whole thing. Like bluntly
Yeah,
put, there's a chance that we could take it. We need to have a really good day against FlyQuest, but we'll worry about that whenever we get there. For now, just stomp the CB Lol team. I'm curious to see what happens this weekend with matchups. Like depending on who's, so we would get the loser of that best of one on Sunday.
which I will say it's funny. So you know how over here, we're having the problem that our two better teams we thought lost.
Yep.
Well, they're having the same problem in Brazil, according to Cloud.
Really?
When I was listening to him, he was co-streaming the scrim games, and him and Marn were talking about uh, what's going on in Brazil, and Cloud was basically like, "Yeah, the upsets happened over there too. Like they're having the same problems we're having." So right now they're like worried if their two what they thought were their best teams are about to get upset again, or if they're gonna get to go. Like, and we're wondering that over here, albeit not as bad, I guess. And I'm sure
Nah.
it's the same way over there.
I mean, are you worried at all for FlyQuest?
I'm not really. I mean, obviously I'm a Shopify fan, so I'm gonna say we have a chance to win it, but I need to see Palafox play more than one game, like well. But honestly, I think both of those teams can do what they gotta do. I think it's a lot harder for Dig than it is for
I don't see a world where
Shopify.
Dig does. I'm sorry, but like their win over Disguise, like it not that a win over Disguise doesn't mean anything, but like the fact that they had to clean it up that much to get there was a little bit
Yeah,
iffy. Now, granted, the more time that they have, the more Shaden gets used to that roster, maybe they'll be fine.
yeah.
But like, I just think FlyQuest comes in and stomps them personally.
And I was gonna say, I mean, their bot lane is their biggest flaw by far. But if which I did not know his name was this. I thought it was Keen, not Caney.
Can't, yeah, I have no clue.
I had no idea it was Caney. But if Caney and Shaden, they actually looked pretty good together in that first series. And I mean, Shaden was really hitting everything you'd want a jungler to hit against Disguise. And if Surdy steps up against Whippo, maybe they could cook something. But their bot lane, I mean, it's bad. And I know Tomo needs the opportunity, I guess, or has earned an opportunity.
Yeah.
But Isles, I'm not sure why he's still there. Maybe Tomo just needs a better support. But it is crazy how like FBI goes to Ayla and they get way better, way quicker, and Tomo goes to a clear downgrade, I guess. So I'm not gonna hold it two against him. But he just they kind of stay the same.
Yeah.
I feel like.
I'm Surdy against Whippo is going to be interesting because I think Surdy's going to have to step up pretty massively
Yeah, he
to
is.
be able to compete on Fly's level. And if they can, great. But I'll be honest with you, I'm expecting a 2-0 in that series. Your guys' series. I look, I'm a narrative guy. I enjoy my storyline points. If Team Liquid really is imploding, like that opens up the door for you guys heavily. That game 3 restored a lot of faith for a lot of people back in Palafox to say that, hey, this guy might actually be able to do it. Granted, it's against, Lion. It's not against like a phenomenal team, but Henna is
Yeah.
or Henna and who is it?
What they're
Their mid laner.
Henna and
Or
the
their
other version of Loki, Saint.
Saint, thank you. They're no pushovers. They were arguably like the two best players on that team. Put
Mhm.
it pretty clearly. I mean, it kind of fell off compared to week 1, but like I I think you guys weirdly have a chance in this. And that's entirely reliant on you guys continuing to level up and TL continuing to fall apart. But
Mhm.
I'll make the call now. If TL loses the series to you guys, that roster's changing. Umpty's gone.
Yeah. Well, who are they going to replace him with right now?
Don't know. But if you cannot do what Umpty has done for 2 series now, and even in their first win, Umpty did not look great. In our series, Umpty looked really, really bad.
Mhm.
If he looks bad again in the next series, I'm just sitting there like, whew. I think you bring in somebody to at least challenge him at a minimum. Like you try and find somebody from
Yeah,
tier
just
2.
who?
I don't know.
I mean, can they do they have the money to fix Yuji's situation?
I don't know. But I mean, either way, like that's just an
Are
import
there
or a
any
visa.
Koreans just laying around?
Well, I mean, it wouldn't matter because you'd be taking an import slot for an import slot, so you could bring them
No,
over.
I'm saying, are there any? Oh, Yuji just needs a import slot. You're right.
Yeah, he just needs to get here. So like, if he's
Yeah.
replacing Umpty, then it's fine. But like,
Are there any Koreans or Euros wasting away?
I don't think so. But like either way, like you
Mm.
can't look at me with a straight face and tell me that like Umpty's playing like at a
Oh,
level
you
that
know,
TL will be okay with. There's no way, bro. It's
I've
like
already figured it out.
what?
We know who it's gonna be, brother.
What, Yugi?
No, Speak is coming back.
Oh, I forgot.
He's ranked like 1 right now.
I
They're gonna go
mean,
grab him. Speak is gonna get his 18th opportunity.
it'd be wild if he succeeded. But
I mean, if he goes there and they just completely turn it around, that would be
wild.
pretty insane. That'd be a good story.
But like, how much slack are you willing to give Umpty at this point? It is like the big question. Am I
Not much.
overreacting by saying that he probably gets
Nope.
benched after this?
No. Also, isn't Speaka's girlfriend the TL streamer?
I don't
I
know.
think so. But that's whatever. That's a completely baseless and unfactual claim I just made. So we'll let that die. But I think you do have to get somebody. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't let just permanently sprint it. Like it's
Yeah.
it's kind of bad. I mean, he did set the record for deaths in a game, which is albeit a whatever stat, but it becomes a little less whatever when you look to who he's dying to. It seems like he feeds not great people to give all the kills to.
Yeah.
And they're not getting a lot in exchange. They're just putting the carries on other teams in a position to carry faster.
It's just wild because like TL last year had like this phenomenal early game that like you just watch them beat the shit out of people
Mhm.
pre like 25 minutes for such a long period of time. And then now it's like they
Yeah.
just don't. I don't get it. I don't know what happened. I don't know like what happened in that locker room. It's not like the game changed that drastically. I don't think it did.
Um, trying to remember. I think it was Blabber, FBI, and Ailerite did the pros recently.
Yeah.
They mentioned on it that a lot of it, what they think of or what they're theorizing, is that because the game has moved to all of these important objectives earlier, in all these feats and things you have to get early, you're kind of forced to team fight more. And
Yeah, and
that the
their
one
team fight has
problem
never been
TL
great.
always had was their team fighting can be a little disjointed. and they get bailed out by their good players, getting to their item points and then just winning the fights anyways.
Yeah.
Like, and Jan was doing that. I mean, all series long against you guys,
Yeah.
he was like making hero plays. But they, in the current form of the way the game is, they're forcing TL to do these fights quicker that TL's not good at, and they just don't know what to do when they're constantly losing that early and they're losing so much stuff. And it looks like they do panic pretty bad
Yeah.
when they're losing everything.
The APA's face, I think it was game 1, where like he had like like a really bad reaction to
Yeah.
like one misplay, was like, that to me is like a symbol. Like, we've all been there. Like, you and I have been there, where like
Mhm.
scrims don't go well for a week in low budget LCS. You get into a game, and just a few things start going wrong that are emblematic
Yep.
of the problems that you had during the week, or the things that you've been talking about in private. And it's like, you hope that things are going to change on stage, and then they don't. And when they don't, it's just like beyond aggravating. That, and you just start like, whether it's your fault or somebody else's fault, like, you just start like, you can't hide it anymore. It just comes
Yep.
through straight on your face. And it's like, the second I saw that emotion, I was like, oh, they're actually fighting behind the scenes.
Yeah, and it was in the pros they talked about it as well, that 100 Thieves players, the Koreans on your team,
Yeah.
could hear the Koreans flaming each other in Korean.
Yeah.
Like they were arguing in Korean, and I was like, ooh,
I don't
that's
I don't like
that's
that.
not
But
good.
the dynamic of that is so fucking hilarious, by the way.
Yeah,
That three
I
of
mean
our
it's
players
way
have
better.
no fucking clue what's being said, but Quid and River can just sit there and eavesdrop on it, and
Yep.
then fill in the rest of the team and like gossiping the entire time. It's like, there something about that dynamic is fucking hysterical, because then like APA and crew, like, they probably don't understand Korean at all to know that they're getting flamed. And it's like, so now as 100 Thieves, you can
Well,
poke the
that was the
bear.
big thing they mentioned though. It wasn't about the English speaking players. They were like flame fighting each other. So that means my guess is Impact Your Core was telling Umpty like, what are you doing? That's what you can infer from it, because I don't know why maybe Impact and Core are yelling at each other about how the game needs to be played as
Yeah.
well. But you would think they're screaming at the dude who just died over and over again on repeat and was not getting enough in
No.
return.
It's a wild situation for TL, who
Yeah.
now back in my power ranks, I was like, you know what? TL is going to be that squad that steps up, takes the mantle. And it's like, oh, should I have more faith in my own guys? Uh-oh. And Nero's here.
Yeah. Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Hey, there. All I'm gonna say is the C9 stream was the old faithful. She was
Really?
holding through. Yes.
I have not gotten to watch any of the streams. How were they?
There was a point where he said he was like telling Dom, how do you do this? Like, how do you do this streaming stuff? This sucks. And Dom was like, you don't need me asking questions. This is holding through. The FlyQuest stream kept going up and down and up and down, and then randomly it went back up, and then they put it on the homepage of Twitch, so it just skyrocketed. But yeah, the C9 one was like holding strong for me.
Dang.
But
Were the scrims entertaining?
yeah, I would say I gotta listen to the first 3 games. I mean, I was working, so I'm not like sitting there attentively watching them.
Yeah.
But listening to the comms is like really cool. Just hearing the way all the players think. I mean, one thing was I was listening through uh, Cloud's stream for a little bit because I wanted to hear what he thought and then hang out in there. And he was going between the C9 ones a lot because he was making a good point, and I was noticing it too. Is the C9 guys talked a lot more than the Fly guys did.
Yeah.
Like Fly was surprisingly a lot more quiet. There was a point where Inspire tried to FF It was
Really?
super funny. Yeah, he said, "I don't think the game is playable in FF." And the team, obviously nobody clicks anything. They just keep playing, but it was so funny to watch him just like you can tell he's the type of dude who just like instinctually FFs
Yeah.
if things go wrong. Like game's not even that bad. He's just FFing. But
Did they win the game or did they end up losing it?
I, I don't remember. Oh man,
Because that would
game
be
two. Did they win or lose game two?
that would be
Somebody's got to know in chat.
hilarious if they lost or if they won that game whenever he wanted to FF.
Yeah. I mean, it was very funny to listen to, like, because he says FF, or he doesn't say, he types it out, and he goes, "I think the game's unwinnable," and then you just hear like Masu and Busio being like, "No, there's a way." Like they just start, like it was funny too, because the young guy, like or I guess the quote unquote young guys, because Inspire's young, but the younger bot lane duo is just like, "Nah, we're fine." They were like, "This is whatever." And he's like supposed to be the veteran leader, and he's just like, I'm done, bro. This sucks. I'm
That's
tired of this."
amazing.
Also,
Jesus.
Thanatos' English is like
So
actually
I caught a little
really
bit
good. Yeah.
of game one before work started picking up and I couldn't do shit. And the little bit that I tuned in for C9's comms because FlyQuest like their comms weren't working for a bit and then it was like underwater for a bit. Con, if you could ban that person or that bot in chat. Uh the the little bit that I heard, I was genuinely surprised at how much Thanatos was talking in their comms. I was like, huh, interesting. Now I'm
Hmm.
curious to see if like how this goes long term. I don't think every stream after is going to pull those numbers. The odds are not.
No.
It's not going to happen because you got the
Well, they
magic
would
of it
also
being
have
the.
to get on. Yeah,
This is like the
front
magic of it
page.
being the first time. I so desperately want to have them scrim 100 Thieves because I just want to hear like a full
Hmm.
game of Sniper just talking with the team, and I want to hear review comms as well. Like I want to hear how hyper this dude is. Like whether like when they're playing, does he like, or when they're reviewing as well, does he like sit back and listen a little bit more? Like is he still talking the entire time? Like I want to know how that goes. Like that, I will be there for every minute. I will clear my work schedule to make sure that I can listen to that in its entirety.
Well, one thing about the stream scrims too is we got to hear Blabber more. And that was hilarious. That dude is just exactly what I would have imagined he is. Like in those scrims. I mean, he was in comms. He's sitting there, and at one point he goes in. He's like, "I can 1v4 this. It's fine." And I'm like, "Brother." Like that's why he's been good for so long. The dude just is so confident. He's like just going in and making plays. He's like, "We can look here, yeah, it's fine." And he's like, "I killed them all." And you're just like, "Whatever, man. This dude is insane." Like he'll die at some point and be like, he'll just be sitting there like, "Huh, didn't think that could happen." Like it just sounds like a normal dude, like chilling. Like, man, I really thought I had him there, and it's not even
Oh my
close. It's pretty awesome to listen to him, and he talks so much.
god.
Like he's saying so much stuff. There was one play too that made me chuckle. That was Sven was like talking with Blabber and Vulcan. Well, my bad. It was Vulcan and Blabber talking, and they're talking about what they want to do. And Vulcan talks about, I think he's talking about diving something, if I'm remembering right. And Blabber goes, "Well, yeah, we could do that, but I'm going over here to do this. But we'll leave it out there." And then Sven goes, "All right, so we can do it in the next 10 seconds, but you're going to do that, so it's just not gonna happen." And Blabber's like, "Yep," and he keeps walking away.
Oh, that's
It's
great.
just like making a joke, just like, "Yeah, man, whatever." He's like, it was
Oh
so
shit.
funny. It honestly was really good for like finding a bond with them, because I mean, I feel like I am never allowed to be a fan of C9, but they were all slowly winning me in
Yeah.
with just their banter and stuff, and the way they all talked was really good. It was really cool behind the scenes from them.
Yeah. What do
I
you
mean,
think?
FlyQuest had some decent stuff too, but
How much of the reviews did they show between games? Like what
I
happened
didn't.
between games? Because like I know you're mentioning a lot about like the comms now, but like
The between games, I was listening to Clouds.
okay, so they were
I would
like
go
breaking it
listen to
down
Cloud,
between.
and C9 was playing music, I think. The
Mm,
first game in Narrow, I think Vigar V2 is who it was, and Dom were talking for a little bit, and
okay,
then they went back. Which also like, Narrow's voice was just like corpse level deep.
you didn't know that?
Nope, had no idea that it was that deep. Like when he started talking, I was working and I stopped working, went on my phone and was like, "Who's that?" And I had to scroll through the chat to see who it was talking. I was like, "That's insane." I was like, "I don't know how I've gone this long in life watching League of
I was gonna
Legends and
say, like, he's had
never
so many
know."
clips on Hotline League, on like I remember the Golden Guardians finals co-stream. He was on there with Avali. Like, granted, he was yelling a little bit more and drunk at. I think he was drunk at the time, but like, I'm surprised that you didn't know he had a deep voice like that.
Yeah, I guess I've just never like
And Nero said
really put
incredibly
two and
drunk.
two together. Okay. Yeah, I was sitting there so surprised. And yeah, it was like really basic stuff they were saying. It wasn't like things going too deep or
Yeah,
anything. They were just saying like basic concepts of what you could, as the fan, think
yeah,
of what they would be, of what goes through teams' heads, I guess, to give you some insight. But it was interesting. I mean, it was all really cool. I'm glad, like, I don't know how the teams felt about it, but it felt like they weren't all saying or doing anything that could be too
yeah,
stolen from on the C9 side. I know Fly was showing the reviews, which I get, but also I'm like, I hope not every team feels like they have to do that.
no,
I'm
I think
honestly okay if they do it the way C9 did it and just like one of their coaches comes on and explains to the people,
yeah,
this is why, this is what you would think after this. This is how you would process losing in that way or what you did wrong
yeah.
and blah blah blah.
I
I
think
think
that's
that's a little
good. I
better.
also think like there is an entertainment element of it that I think could go a long way. Like coming from an optic background, uh, anytime they had events like this, like they did a race or like when ranked released in Call of Duty, they would cut into player comms and like show them in game and like listen fully to them. Between
Mhm.
games, it would be two of their content creators, Hitch and Maniac, just talking and just like shooting the shit, chatting with chat, just like engaging with like the audience, like kind of keep people uh engaged with things when they were between games. And just like
Mhm.
basically acted as like kind of like the commentators in a way, but it's just like you knew like you're chilling with them, but then when it's time for the game, like you'll make sure you kick it to the game. And then like the players will come over occasionally and have like conversations with them and like they'd be like the moderator between everything. Like I think that's the model. Like when somebody gets this down right, that's going to
Mhm.
be the way to do it. But I'm curious to see what the numbers of this look like going forward, if this can be a consistent thing. I mean, it's clearly going to be FlyQuest thing every Tuesday now, which is brilliant because nobody plays on Tuesdays. So like, there's no league action going on ever on Tuesdays to conflict with this.
Yeah. Oh, they're trying to do it every Tuesday?
Every week, to my understanding, and I would assume, based on Papa Smithy's video, it sounds like they would like to do it at the same day, same time, so that people could tune in every single week, which is brilliant. If
Hmm.
that's the strategy they want
Yeah,
to go
that's a
with,
good idea.
absolutely. Because to an arrow's point, like I don't think the viewership is going to be there each and every week. Like
Yeah,
I don't
no.
think that's going to happen. But if you can start developing a routine, you're not going to get 50K. But if you can get 25K to show up each and every week, that's a dub. You can't sit here and tell me that we're streaming scrims, 25,000 people tune in each and every week. Like that's a fucking dub. So we'll see.
Mhm.
I just want 100 Thieves to do it
No.
at some point. Play FlyQuest. Like I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think it was all positive, like that I was seeing. I think there's a lot of it'll all be ironed out by the end of it,
Yeah.
and it should be a fun thing, especially if it's weekly. I do think that the teams that are getting knocked out need to be doing this. Like, if you're not playing League for the next till April, you need to be somehow figuring out how you can run events like this, or run like maybe try and do show matches somewhere.
No, I
I don't know
I
what you
I
got to
honest
do.
to God
You
think
got to
this is
put
the
it
right
together.
format. I don't want to I hate to say it, but I don't want to see show matches. They do nothing like watching this versus watching a show
Yeah.
match. It's night and day different. Like I'd rather watch a scrim and like watch how you guys are like working to improve and like see like a little
Mhm.
bit behind the scenes there than watch a show match which we know you're not going to take seriously. Like the one thing that was really nice about this was I never got the perception in the bits that I saw that people were not taking it seriously. It seemed
That's
like
fair.
both teams understood that this is still a scrim. It might be on camera. You might, be more exposed than you have been in the past, but this is still a scrim and you are still going to take it seriously. That'd be an interesting question for Anero if you're still here. What was the feeling from your guys' side? Like did it like comparing it to a normal scrim block? Can you give a percentage of like how much it felt true to like a normal scrim? Like that would be my thing. Cuz like
Mhm.
if that felt like 99% of the way there. But we know no different as the audience. So we don't know how much more serious or how he said like 30%. Damn. Really?
I mean, it
Interesting.
didn't come off to me like
No, it didn't come off that way.
no, I was gonna say to me it didn't come off like it was people screaming super intently. I felt like it was a little more maybe show matchy to me,
Yeah.
but maybe they
Interesting.
were screaming as intently. I thought it was more people just going in and doing what they knew was more like this is a community building event.
Yeah.
That's how I took it. But I mean, honestly, I don't know how hard Fly was trying. I know C9. I don't know if like they felt like it wasn't scrim as much
Yeah.
because a normal scrim because they're already done,
Yeah.
or if like it's because it was streamed and they just decided to
And
not
Nero's
mail it in, but
and Nero
mail it in
said
a
it was
little
also the
more.
first day of the week on a new patch, which is usually an experimental day. It's interesting.
Okay.
Because one thing I remember, like optic scrims back when, because that's my comparison point for all of this. Early on, it was never really like the early scrims in the year were just more like general excitement to play the game, to try things out. Like it was a little bit more loose. So the cutoff point for scrims in Call of Duty was always pretty much a week and a half before LAN events. They would cut off stream scrims, and they would boot camp with a few other teams in like one house to prep for everything. So but you could tell leading up to that boot camp, scrims would get more and more serious as time went on. Like the initial bits of it were definitely more fun, but as you got closer to the major events, it got way more serious. So I'd be curious to know if this happens each and every week for FlyQuest, if we can tell the intensity picking up in any way, shape, or form. Like if you can
Mhm.
spot the difference looking back on this first one versus future ones.
I mean, I'm gonna guess, yeah, there's gonna be somewhere they're trying a lot harder. I mean, this is February League of Legends, so
Yeah.
the importance of it isn't as high. I know if certain people, Korea cough cough and Cloud cough cough, it doesn't matter at all, and that's very infuriating. But I think it's kind of one of those things where it's like, how intense can you really be at this point in the year? I mean, if you're like really sending it 24/7 in February, you're probably gonna slightly burn out by the time you get to
Yeah.
October, that September timeframe. When I mean, let's be real, Cloud9 and FlyQuest are probably expecting to be still playing League around there, and they have good chances to be. So
Yeah.
there, I highly doubt right now it's going to be as intense, and it will be interesting, like you're saying, to see what happens when we get closer to them. But I don't know if the two teams going to Worlds are going to want to scrim.
And Nero said, for what it's worth, I don't think it'll happen every week for them, but we'll see. I think it's a damn shame if it doesn't. Like the one thing that I hope people understand with this is this is exactly what people clearly wanted.
Mhm.
Or at least like a good enough portion of the community wanted this to warrant it happening on a consistent basis. And you gotta, I hate to keep harping on a point that we continuously make, but it's like you gotta fill the dead space. You have to. We have 2 days of games. This week we have one. We have 1 day of games. Like, I'm so happy this match happened now. Next week, I'm curious to see. Like, I don't think it's gonna. Next week, it's not gonna be the responsibility of the 4 teams that are going to Sao Paulo. But I think you
Mhm.
still want to see one of the bottom teams try and do it. That's not going, and like still show a scrim, still try something, give people something to watch and something to latch onto your players and grow. Because like again, the content formula that we've been following for the last 3 years has not been working. It bluntly hasn't. So it's like you gotta try something new. And the key with all content, Con can tell you this, I can tell you this, Anero can probably tell you this, anybody that's involved with esports and content creation in general, you have to be consistent. You have to. People need to inherently know to tune into your shit at a specific time and a specific date, and they will develop that pattern. Like that's just how it is. Like growing up, I know he's controversial now, but like back in 2016, every Friday I was tuning into the David Dobrik vlog. Casey Neistat when he was doing his daily vlogs back then. Watch every day. I'm waking up, starting work, watching my Casey Neistat video. Like you get in a habit, and that's what connects you to creators.
You haven't prefaced David Dobrik because of the
We were
Discord.
unironically talking about him in the office today, which was wild.
Really?
Yeah. Which, by the way, we can
Why?
touch on. We can touch on. Just I forget what prompted the conversation, but it was like vlog content, like party content on YouTube and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Uh, that conversation led into David Dobrik, and then it went from there.
Fair
Uh,
enough.
by the way, we could talk about the office stuff at some point if you want, because that was a cool fucking moment for me earlier today.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd love to at some point, but we obviously not on stream, I
No, we
assume.
we can do that on stream. That's fine. If we want to talk about it, do we want to talk about it now and take a quick tangent or circle back to it?
Yes. Well,
Okay.
I'm plugging in batteries, sorry.
You're fine. For those that don't know, I wouldn't post the picture online. I shared it with Paul, but like, the Disney earnings call was this morning, and on that call was obviously CEO Bob Iger. Most people know who Bob Iger is at this point if you're in the corporate world at all. Uh, and then so was oh, why am I forgetting his name right now? Our CFO. Oh, this is a bad look for me. Uh, hang on, Emily texted me. Nope, I don't need anything. Uh, Hugh, that's who it was. Sorry. Uh, but we went to the cafeteria today. Or we gotta talk
Mhm.
about Disney Plus. I ain't talking about any financials or anything discussed on that call at all. Uh, but we went to the cafeteria to go get lunch, and I did find it abnormal that like we have like a hot bar type thing as well as like a grill makes order whatever. There was like high end steak today, and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Oh.
That's interesting. Like, and everybody can get it. And like, I got like 8 ounces of steak, potatoes, vegetables, and like 2 barbecue chicken wings because I just saw them and they look good. It was like $10, subsidized cafeteria. It's great. Uh, but whispers started going around that Bob Iger is like chilling and eating in the cafeteria, and I was like, okay. So me and Manu, who works on like our like general like group, uh, we walk over and we see him just sitting there, just chilling, eating lunch with everybody, and it's one of those where it's like nobody's approaching him at all because like what would you go up and say? Like
Yeah,
unless you have a
nothing.
reason to go up and say something, like he's having lunch with people, like everybody just kind of like lets him be. But it's like it's wild to be like you're aware that like Bob Iger like is the CEO of the company that you work for, but like
Yep.
to be like 2 feet away from the dude just casually is just like it's kind of a mind fuck the first time that it happens, and it happened today for a lot of us, and it was like whoa, because like he would never be in the old Disney streaming offices, which were like the 20th Century Fox floors of like the Fox News building. He never came over there, other than what he was like going to Fox News to like be on TV. So for all of us to be in a Disney headquarters now with Disney branding everywhere, you got
Mhm.
excited about the posters in the back. But like
Yeah, I did.
it
They're
was
cool.
wild to be like, to be there and realize like, oh shit, okay, like this is like Disney. Got it.
Yep. Now that is sick. I mean, I'd love to see him. I'd know what I would say to him, but that's
What would you
because.
say?
Oh, to Bob Iger?
Yeah. Is
Oh,
it something
I
that could
would
be on a
want.
stream?
Well, yeah, I think it could be. I would just look at him and I'd be like, "Hey, come on, throw us a bone. Throw us a bone on these prices here." I mean, that's all I would say about Disney World. About Disney World, I'd be like, "Throw us a bone," and I would ask him very politely, as kind as I could, if at least the prices stay the same. And I understand, because I've given him a thing that I want him to throw us a bone on, but now I've pulled it back. Like, you know what? I'll do you a solid. I'll pull it back and say you're doing a good job. Extend the hours a bit at Animal Kingdom. That is my one request
Extend
to
the
Bob Iger.
hours?
Yes, Animal Kingdom closes at like 6 p.m. all the time,
Hmm.
but it opens at like 7. So I get why it closes at 6.
Yeah.
But I know they're going to open it later when uh, Indiana Jones and Encanto finish. They're going to start leaving it open later, allegedly. These are all rumors. But I mean, it's pretty obvious that's what they're doing. They're adding good rides to have a reason to leave it open longer. But I would just beg him, please leave it open later, because Pandora is one of the coolest things you can see at night that so many people don't even know is cool because it's not open late enough to get to nighttime.
To be fair, everybody that's in the New York office has nothing to do with parks.
No, yeah, but I'm getting
So
to talk
like,
Bob
I no,
Iger.
I get you. I do.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
this is
typically
what I
like,
love.
I know. Uh, is Paul cap? Paul is not capping. Paul does not cap about Disney anything. Uh,
No, no.
but one of the things I'll be able to post on social media at some point, I think. And there's a few vlogs. If you type in on TikTok like Disney New York City office, there's a few people who have done tours of the office. I've so for those that need like a behind the scenes, I disclosed everything content wise with Disney. Whenever I did my deal with Verizon, I had to clear it with them because I part of like the forecast that I do involve Verizon, like it was Verizon bundle sales at the time. Uh, so it's like I have to clear it with Disney that I can do an ad campaign for Verizon while still also handle. You good? That your eyes got wide.
Yeah, I accidentally deleted the wrong folder.
Way to go.
It's fine.
I thought like something big was happening. I don't know. Sam going into labor or some shit. Uh,
No. Good. Thankfully not yet.
but oh yeah, but I have to clear everything with them. So like there've been so
Mhm.
many times where I've been tempted to just do like a full tour of the office because like there are people that do like the quick like day in my life vlogs. Like I don't even think that's hard. Like do like a full walking tour of the office because it's
Mhm.
sick, and it's like I know I get in trouble for doing that because like I'm on their radar, and all the people that have posted it or like posted their shit have like 500 to like 700 followers. They post like one video and that's it, and don't talk about Disney shit. But I've been like explicitly told by HR, they're like, "Hey, you do whatever you want, brand sponsorships, whatever, fine. Do not film in the office. Do not like do. We don't want to see any of your content coming from the office. You can be outside the building. You can do whatever, fine. Do not
Hmm.
film inside the office." So
Interesting.
that is the protocol that I live by.
Yeah.
But I said
Yeah, I
there's
mean,
a whole content series. Like Disney could do this, and I think it'd be great. And if they ever want partnership, like somebody to help them out with it, I will gladly do it. Of We have a wall of like, what was the thing that I told you about the thing you had me send you a picture on? Was it Imagine? Not Imagineers. What was it? Uh,
it was basically just a plaque to
yeah.
all Disney workers in the history of Disney, which
But
I know.
there are right around like 75 individual people highlighted on there,
Yep.
and there would be amazing content series to just go like around the New York office and just like highlight one of them and just like explain the history. Because like the one that I saw earlier today was Christina Aguilera, but Christina Aguilera from her Disney days, like way back when, like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, like all that. It was like, did that's wild, like to go back that far and like have those level of people in there. Regis Philbin was up there from back when. Like, there's just so many.
I wonder if they had Ryan Gosling on it. I mean,
Possibly,
because that's where he got his start too.
yeah, maybe.
I mean, a lot of big names come through
Oh,
that, but no. And I, to the people saying, "Am I capping your joke?" No, I would 100% look at him and beg him to do that with Animal Kingdom, which they are repainting that ground, by the way.
which I'm not commenting
So
on.
I think they could be planning to do later nights. And if you wonder, does Paul listen to every single rumor video on Disney? Yes, I listen to like 3 different Disney rumor channels, so I have my facts straight
Which is
in my
always
affairs
wild
in
because like I
order.
see I see you going in depth on Disney and it's like I'm just sitting here
Yeah.
watching like
Yup.
interesting. Interesting.
But sometimes I give you pretty good rumors that I found that are people like saying pretty accurate things, and you obviously don't give me any reaction either way. But then it happens, and I'm like, oh, I know that one. Really had Dave wanting to make a face, like the
There
Monsters Inc. stuff.
so like anything with the parks is like I don't I work so if you listen to the earnings call at any point today, you heard them mention like DTC, which is like direct to
Mhm.
consumer, which is like Disney Plus, like Disney streaming, like product that we serve directly to people, or like content we're directly serving to them rather than like, you know, it going into the movies or the parks, which is more of a service. Like that's different. So like it was interesting to hear the amount of questions on like DTC today. But
Interesting.
we cannot continue this conversation any further because like there's nothing else I can say without getting myself in trouble. Uh, so
Yeah, I mean,
I say we end our Disney detour.
it's one of my true loves, and I'm happy you get to work there because it's good that somebody is
Did I tell
enjoying
you?
it.
Did I ever tell you that I'm fulfilling my mom's dream?
Really?
Uh, this is unintentional, but my mom, prior to becoming, she's currently the CFO for the county commissioners in Pennsylvania. So like the people,
Mhm.
like I'm not sure. Are you familiar with like how county commissioners work? Like it's obviously
Nope.
there's various different counties that you live in within your state. Like you live in a
Yeah, I
specific
get
count.
that.
Yeah, there are people that are in charge of the budget for them, as well as like insurance claim, like things that are done at a county level.
Mhm.
You have like representatives, not just within like Congress, but like people that are in charge of a lot of different things that are run by the county. For example, whenever you vote in an election, county commissioners are the people in charge of like submitting the ballots, like all stuff like that. So like the people that Trump attacked in like 2020, like that was the county commissioners of various different states. Uh,
Yeah.
Before my mom did that, she worked at Quaker Oats for a bit, which picked up my addiction to eating Quaker Oats oatmeal every single day for breakfast. Uh, but her dream was always to work payroll and HR, not HR, but just like payroll finance for Disney.
Hmm.
She loved the idea of that. She just always wanted to see like behind the books, behind the numbers of like how like
Yeah.
the biggest entertainment conglomerate in the world works, because we have over like 200,000 people. So like the labor side of things is fascinating to her. And it's just funny that like I'm reporting, no, I don't oversee it, but I oversee like certain allocations for labor. It's like I'm technically doing the part of the thing that my mom dreamed of doing. Stop it.
It's pretty
Her
funny.
entire life. Stop it. Relax.
I mean, you're living my dream working at Disney. God, don't say that. But no, I want to work there so bad. I've tried to go down there and do drones, but I couldn't convince Sam to live in Florida of all places.
Our referral program just opened up again. So
Mhm.
if you see any jobs that you want, obviously I will back you
I,
until the end of time. You let me know and I'll refer you.
yeah, I can't I can't get down there. I want to work at the parks,
There's some remote
which
jobs. You never know.
are there.
Yeah.
I should Google around and see what's open.
Don't Google. Just
But
go to Disney. Disney's website is very well built out.
That's true. That's true.
Just go on there, type in remote, like look at the various different things. You'd be surprised where some Disney jobs can be.
I should look, cause man, dude, I wanted to go down there so bad when I got back from Texas. I was like, we're going. I'm used to the heat now. And then Sam was like, I'm not moving to Florida. And then we went down there on a vacation. I was like, bro, this humidity would have crushed me. I thought I would have been able to handle it. I spent a year in a desert, thought I could handle Florida humidity. It's
I mean, it
not
rains
true.
at 3 and clears it up for a bit.
Yeah, I would die. I already know it. Which, I mean, I know we got way off track.
Nah, that's fine. We can get back to the league. We took our Disney detour for the week.
We
There's
did.
a lot of shit going on that it was like, we're allowed to.
Well, I think you quit running it so far, but a lot of good news on the construction, but I'll let that die. Because we gotta talk about more important construction, which is roster construction for TL after SR crushes them. What's gonna happen to them?
I mean, we kind of already laid that out now.
But really, I wanted to talk about SR, and I tried to get a segue, and it didn't hit. I mean, it happens sometimes. You fall off. But what'd you think of Palafaker returning for one game?
I was ready. I had the tweet ready going into game 3, just like some sort of like
insanity
just like some tombstone. Like, here lies Palafox's final game, his final play in the LTA. Which I get there are people that are going to be upset. It's like, oh, it's too early to change out rosters. If dude, I was so ready to just say it's done. And by all means, if he sprints it against TL and APA, I'm still possibly willing to say it. But like, I don't. I want to believe in him. I really do. But like, you got a lot to prove this weekend. If you guys can upset TL, I will never say a bad thing about Palafox ever again.
I don't know. Maybe they will, and I'm a pessimist, but Palafox has had like one good game out of 5, and I'm just like, I know like right now is the time to be rose, tinted glasses and looking at him and being like, oh man, he's so back. But every time I watch him, I'm like, I saw this all last year. This is the same doom and gloom I've seen for a year now. It gets no better. The road is dark and it has no happy ending. And they beat Lion, which I guess is
woo,
good.
Congrats. You barely beat Lion too.
I know. And I was like, bro, like, a guy who I was ready to say, like, bro, we gotta go mid lane shopping. Like, there's gotta be somebody. And then he plays one good game, and I'm like, we're really stuck with him for the rest of the year because of one game. Like, this is so tough.
That is going to be one of the most hilarious narrative points all year. Is if this plays out where he has that one good game and it's enough to carry a weight through the end of the year, I will laugh so hard. Dude. Not for Palafox, I feel bad, but I'll laugh at you so hard.
I mean, if they win this week, then like whatever. I don't care. We got so much more free League of Legends. I'm not gonna complain. But if we lose, it's just like, yeah, I hear everybody. I get it. But like, really? Do we like? I think we've seen enough. Even it wasn't that many games, and I get I'm judging him harshly and early, but this is just a carryover from last year, which I know it is what it is.
So, what's your prediction for the series? 2-1, Shopify.
I mean, I don't even know because my heart wants to go Shopify, but they've been crushing.
I'm forcing you to make your pick first.
I know, my pick'ems are so bad. Well, they haven't been crushing my pick'ems, my bad. I've been crushing my pick'ems by just like.
To be fair, you still have 7 international series, so.
Yeah, but the LCK ones don't count, so it's not worth it. I'm kidding.
We'll get to that next. We will get to that next.
Um, Shopify 2-1. This is gonna kill me, dude. I'm so bad.
I'm doing this to give you a chance, okay?
Don't
Not
pity
because I
me.
actually want to pick it.
Well, then pick what you want. Don't
No,
pity me.
I don't want to do that. I'm doing this to give you a chance. I'm saying Team Liquid 2-0. I think it's going to be a 2-1 Shopify.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Gut feeling. I have no rational explanation other than just like maybe it really is cracking at the seams and it's not enough time for them to fix it. And NRG just rides the momentum from that game 3.
Hmm.
I don't know what else to say on that. I mean, the problem is going to be, like you said, your bot lane has to step up massively to be able to compete with Yawn, who is peak performance right now.
Yeah, and B-Boy hasn't been in the issue, really.
No.
Zazel is whatever. I mean, he's not our starting support, so I'm not gonna, like, flame him. It's kind of pointless to do that, but I just don't know.
I get a gut. I don't know why, but it feels like TL's crumbling.
It does, but also, like, when everybody says that, I then feel like they're just gonna come out and shock us all.
Maybe, but like, dude, we should have 2-0'd them. Like,
I mean,
they should not have taken a game off of us. So,
that's
like,
true.
I'm not.
And I'm not as down on Fudge as everybody else is. I don't know why everybody thinks Fudge sucks.
He was still a little bit disconnected from the team.
Fans. He was.
But
it doesn't matter when Palafaker's just 2v1ing.
Yeah.
Because he's a dog. Or I guess 1v2ing.
So, I want to go over to the LCK. I want to talk about Cloud's topic that he brought up. Because that was fucking wild when I read that headline. I know he's being hyperbolic. Like, he doesn't actually think that LCK shouldn't be there. Because that'd be first and foremost, he can't. And second, it'd be the dumbest decision in the fucking world to ever bar the LCK from an international tournament for no reason.
Yeah, it would.
Why are you going to punish the players for a decision that's made at a level that they have no control over?
Mm-hmm.
But it is kind of bullshit that the stats don't count for that.
That is weird. I didn't even know they weren't counting them.
I knew it since week 1 because they T1 fan the whole like Faker's 1000th game.
Yeah.
Or no, week 2 I think I knew it because Faker's 1000th game came up and people were like, "Oh, well this doesn't count as his 1000th game."
That's weird.
I was like, when that happened, I was like, ugh. But I do agree with his point. And it was something that Joe Marsh brought up of like how, you know, T1 ultimately really doesn't care about anything other than Worlds. I don't like that people are fully devaluing it, but at the same time, I blame Riot more than anything for having a really shit format for this tournament.
Yeah. I mean, that is fair. I think there's no incentive to 3 splits. I don't know in what world they thought where we devalue MSI to Worlds so much that a third tournament that's even earlier was going to matter.
It's not that it's even earlier. I think if you make it like MSI, that like we talked about like going, you know, having those two be like equal in terms of like how they're structured, how they play out, then I'm fine with it. But like 5 teams at this event, it feels bad. I mean, I'm going to be excited if 100 Thieves go. If 100 Thieves go and win, it's the biggest tournament in the world and nobody's ever going to be able to tell me fucking different, to be very clear. But
yeah,
prior to that, it's like, although I did find it funny the amount of people that were like raging over like, you play 2 best of 3s and then get eliminated. It's like, we've known this since November. None of y'all raised this. Nobody was raising hell whenever this got announced originally. But now all of a sudden, because it's real, it's like, What the hell? Where did this come from? It's like, it's been there the entire time. This outrage was never there. Partially because Riot never
Yeah,
communicated the format all that well, so people had no fucking clue what was going on.
I mean it's really bad for I think regional leagues. I mean not having I mean I don't know, man. Two teams not playing really much League of Legends until April just sounds like a joke.
I mean, I've been hearing this though. Like, okay, it's not that like I knew this would come because I've been listening to Valorant have this exact argument for 2 years now.
Yeah,
Because this
yeah,
format has basically been their thing for a while for VCT kickoff, where it's like
yeah,
it's a joke of a first thing, but it matters because you're still going to an international tournament. And
yep,
it's like the Valorant community has hated it for a while, and it's like, oh, we got this. This is gonna be fun to watch the League of Legends community have the exact same reaction, and then sit here and
yep,
flounder. And it's like, have you not been paying attention to the people that like we are biggest rivals with? Technically, it's like it's the same. You're regurgitating the same points that they've been arguing for a while, and they couldn't get their shit changed.
yeah. Which is crazy. I mean, Riot does have to find something a little different because I just don't see how you keep teams like as interested. I mean, bottom half teams, I guess, have never been doing what too much in
Yeah,
LCS back when it was that. But I still feel like if you're trying to incentivize your bottom feeder teams to try harder, this is like the worst way to do it ever. Just give them as little screen time as possible. I
yeah.
mean, maybe those teams use it as an opportunity to really like start doing some good scrim stream show matches, whatever you got to do, building community events,
Yeah.
like do something, but you're putting a lot on the teams.
Teams which have historically not done a great job at
Nope.
doing it. So I'm curious to see how this tournament goes. It would be a blessing for the LCK if T1 somehow went with Smash playing. They might. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's T1, so you can never count them out.
The
It
Brazil
is what
event
it is
will
with them.
probably do better than any regular NA playoffs. Yeah, but that's because you're including Brazilian viewership. For
Yeah.
like, I don't. It's not a fair comparison. I agree, but like, here's my like. For those that don't know what I'm referencing, my solution to this would be shave a little bit of time off of Split 2, make Split 1 and Split 2 equal, and have it both be an identical MSI format.
Mhm.
Send two teams from both regions or from all regions and make it MSI format. Make them
I just
equal, and they're like
yeah.
the minor tournaments, and Worlds is the major. You're never going to be able to catch up to Worlds, clearly, but like I don't know what else you do because like having one team for each region is gonna suck ass.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it just is. There's no way around it, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
I mean, because this, like, how as a Lion fan, like, what do you do?
Oh, dude, I don't know. Good luck. That's you gotta stream scrims or do some sort of content. You gotta fill that void somehow because that's like you got 2 months.
Yeah, like, you're hosed. You're completely hosed as a Lions fan. And, I mean, I don't think Riot is realizing just how bad that's going to be for people. I mean, what other sport can you think of where, like, one team just plays that little? You know
Uh,
what I mean? Well, two of them. Is there any sport?
no, not to my knowledge. Everybody has a pretty extended regular season, and then you have like
Yeah.
5 weeks of playoffs, and that's it.
Which I'm not saying we always have to like copy pro sports, but I mean, their format's been around forever and it's been fairly successful. So
I
do you think they would semi copy it just
I
a little bit?
I don't have a good answer on that one at all.
I mean, it's just worrying me because it's like I'm looking at DSG as well, who I think DSG is like very, they had a lot of promise. And they were putting in so much effort to co stream, like Disguised was. and he was coming to events and stuff, bringing his friends, getting a lot of activation out of all that, and they were kind of fun to watch. XU like is a good sport about things, and he's nice to listen to. And then just boom, they're gone until April. I mean, their momentum's just over unless they do their own stuff. Which now the org has to foot the bill more, and I just don't see how that's sustainable
Which
unless they're getting better stipends or Riot helps them.
no, because they're not.
Yeah.
And Riot, why would Riot help them? Riot's got 4 more weeks of play
Yep.
to worry about with their teams. Like
Yep.
DSG has to find a way to stay relevant throughout all of that. And it's like for Toast, hopefully it will be watching the other team. DSG is just going to Korea to boot camp. I don't know about that one, fam. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's bold.
Let me ask you this,
Sad.
because I know Khan is very much against it, but I'm curious to know your thoughts. What would you have them do? You are general manager of DSG, the organization. What do you do in this downtime?
Oh, I mean, that's a hard
Actually,
question.
Anero brings up a great point that I didn't fucking think about because I forgot the first stand was in Korea. So
So
I take
most
back what I
teams are
said. Never
going
mind.
there, yeah.
I will refine my point here in a minute because actually I completely forgot about that. That changes the optics of my opinion a little bit. But continue.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they're going there and like if they're doing streaming scrims or something, or giving people events to watch, I mean, maybe Korean solo queue is the way, but I don't know. I feel like streaming Korean solo queue used to be a lot bigger of a banger than it is, but maybe it is huge. I would have to see.
I don't think it is. So here's what I want to see from teams. You better be making content about first stand the entire time you're there. Like show your players playing solo queue, but then also going to watch the games and like I don't know, make vlog content, make trivia. If according to Anero, almost all the teams are going to Korea during this time, which makes sense because the tournament's going to be there, and you already have one team going, so everybody else can go, and they're probably going to be with the BNK FearX thing in Seoul. Like you got to do content, but here's why I don't have faith in that. Okay, Shopify, Cloud9, 100 Thieves, and Team Liquid were all in Korea this offseason. How much content did we get out of that?
Not much, from my understanding. I don't know.
We got the
Cloud
Cloud9 and
Nine maybe
100
a lot,
Thieves beat and FearX show match. That was it.
which was streamed at what time?
Like 3 a.m. their time. Korea streams in general, like the timing does not line up with North America. So your streams are not going to be the thing that grows a North American audience while you're over there.
Hmm.
It'll grow an international audience, sure, but it's not going to grow an NA team.
I mean,
So what you need
my
to do is you
yeah,
use part of that day to film fucking content, and then guess what? You post it at the end of the day, and that's 8 a.m. our time. And then we're waking up and we have content from our favorite org of what happened overnight.
my gut says like these teams should be trying to do some sort of show match tour, like the bottom two teams, right?
Yeah.
Go around with Collegiate League, partner with them, and try to do stuff with clubs. But I just don't see how it can be financially viable because there's just no way
No.
to travel, make players travel like that with where we're at financially in League of Legends.
Yeah.
Like going around just wouldn't work, and I don't think esport clubs are really can facilitate that as well as I'd like to imagine they could.
Yeah.
But that would be like something cool, something that builds in a fandom. I mean, it's just so tough though. I mean, people just don't do it,
No.
and they're in LA, so it makes it kind of tough to travel out. Like you have UCLA and USC right there. You could go to and maybe set something up with those events.
Have we ever seen teams like put out a content piece with like UCLA or UCI? Like pro teams?
No clue.
I don't know. I just
No clue. I don't think so. I mean,
you just gotta do something. Like if they're all gonna go over to Korea and boot camp, you gotta do something while you're over there. You cannot just go and fucking play the game. Because guess what? You are not gonna get, I'm sorry, but for Disguised, I'll use you as an example. You are never going to get good enough to make an international tournament.
probably not, no.
So you better be making fucking content in some way, shape, or form when you're over in Korea.
Yeah. It's just tough because it's like, is I get the want to go try to become better, and you can't ever admit that you couldn't reach those levels, right?
Yeah.
But at what point do you kind of see where you're at and go, we need to just work on the grassroots stuff over the trying? I know it sounds bad, but over trying to be the best, you need to be the most popular. And that could help. I mean, I know like K Core is a tough one to use because they dominated Tier 2 League. So they were winning a lot down there, at least, or competing very well down there, even if
Yeah.
they weren't winning. And that made them popular. But the second they came up to LEC, because of all that work they put in, you know, battling down there, they could lose.
Yeah.
And they still had a lot of people tuning in and being proud, which I know everybody uses them as an example. So some people think it's annoying. But like, who else do you use as the blueprint at this point with
Yeah.
where we're at? They're probably the only team other than whatever Koi or Matt or whatever their name is now
Yeah.
is like they're the only ones who have really matched that G2 fandom and done it well.
I'm just trying to think with your college idea. Okay, it's gonna sound like a dumb thing, but do you know what movie I watched in the last like 3 days or watched a reaction to?
But
Remember the Titans?
okay.
I didn't realize like how much time that movie spent developing like
Mhm.
backstory and like spent in Gettysburg at boot camp
Yeah.
or like sleepaway camp, and it's like I'm thinking about that and it's like, dude, there's got to be some content you can make like going to a college campus and like playing there and like I don't know. What would be hilarious is like I don't know, fucking have APA go to say TL doesn't make it. I know TL will probably go to Korea. Have TL or send APA to Maryville. Have them spend a night in a dorm, go to a class, like or work it out with like the esports program there to like have him sit in a class and like try and see if you can find a way to like document that in any way, shape, or form. And like just have like 24 hours with APA on a college campus and just make it like raw vlog style footage. Eat in the cafeteria, show the food, like show like I don't know. That to me sounds entertaining. And then
Hmm.
like if that does well, like you could try and I don't know. Like and then meet with some students, like talk about Team Liquid and like what it's like to be a pro. And then like have that there. I don't know. There's got to be something you could do here in America to like try and grow it without having to just go to Korea with everybody else. But I get they're gonna want to do that for the competition, so it is what it is. And I have no say in it. I would also say, go to a party on a Friday night, but I'm worried about the amount of underage drinking that would be shown on camera, so I don't think that's possible.
I mean, one I can think of is like a Purdue, in Indiana, like off the top of my head,
Yeah,
a college that could host a decent event, could probably put together some decent computers so you don't have to travel with computers. You can just bring your mouse and keyboard or whatever,
yeah,
and put you somewhere. And they have like 40,000 students. I mean, Maryville only has 10K, which I know they're like one of our biggest, most successful esports ones. But at this point, like, let's dream bigger if we're being honest.
yeah,
We can dream bigger and let's go to those. University of Illinois, I know they have like 40K plus.
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure North Carolina's somewhere in the 30 plus. Ohio
Dude,
State's huge.
you give me a can. I wish I had the time. Fuck, Stinky beat me to it. Fuck you. God damn it. Uh, give me a camera Okay, like if I could just be a full-time content creator and I didn't have to worry about anything else, I'll tell you what video I would do. I would drive to come pick you up and we would drive to Penn State. And we would just spend a weekend at Penn State. Just like looking at
Mhm.
their esports program, going out, grabbing drinks, like talking to people about like League of Legends, like just bullshit and everything. Dude, one video we would do would be like, you know how they have I forget who it was, but the dude that's like debate me on anything. And like pull up on the college campus, like have like a sign that says like debate me on like League of Legends is like better than Valorant, and just started like arguing with Valorant people on why they have a shit
Mhm.
game versus League of Legends. And then like, go to the bars, do all like I don't like do a tour of that. Like I oh dude, that'd be great. If I had the time, I would do that shit in a heartbeat.
I don't know how much of it is online, but Penn State has 88K people, bro.
No, it's true.
Like, let's
I've,
just
I've been to Penn
like,
State's main campus. Yes, that is true.
yeah, send that. Like, why would you not be trying to build out? You know what I mean? On these types of places. I mean, because the thing is too, if you can get a decent club going,
Yeah.
like there, and you can make that club feel biased to this is the pro team we like. As a club, we all love them. They come here
Yeah.
once a year, whatever. You're talking about even if like 80 of those kids per year, of that 88K,
Yeah.
like the smallest amount we can think of, like slowly keep trickling every year, once a year, 80 kids are becoming a fan of your team. That's like, that'll grow pretty big.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know that's not like super high, super fast growth, whatever. You might be putting out more money than you're getting in. But at this point, going to Korea can't be adding much more than going to these college campuses.
Yeah. I just don't. You have to make it into a content series. That's the biggest thing. Like you can't just go there and like do it on your own because then
Yeah.
nobody will know about it. Like it has to be
And if
like
you go, I mean, you go to the college campuses in the Midwest area or closer to the server, you get good ping.
yeah.
Maybe NA solo queue's not good enough, but I mean, at this point, you got to try to push NA solo queue to be at a better place. I know they've been saying that forever, but
I just think you gotta
you,
like fuck
I don't
fuck
know.
anything competitive, just content. Figure out a way to make the most amount of content out of it. But like, I don't know. Like,
And getting better. Like you got to try to almost you got to go to that. And I know you love this stuff, but you got to go to that old school Call of Duty mindset
I know, I know.
where like they're pushing both. You know what I mean? Like, and I know you're gonna eat that up, and this is just gonna be confirmation bias, echo chamber, whatever, like conversation. But you go to that route because it does function pretty decently
Yeah.
when you need viewership. And unless we're committing to all online, if we are committing to all online viewership, and that's when we think will work, I don't really know how going to Korea is feeding into it because they really streaming on our time frame?
No, they're not. Like that's the biggest thing that I just want people to understand is like I completely understand the argument of like wanting to get better. And I'm not disagreeing with like for the top teams that it's not worth doing that, but like I don't know. You think my argument would be this. You think T1's going to fucking Paris to play in Red Bull League of its own because it makes them better? No, they're going because it's the right thing to do to grow the brand. And it's like going to Korea to just improve on an individual level is ultimately not growing the brands. And in a world where
Mhm.
viewership is down, and I said I was gonna wait until this week to like really focus on like viewership as like a talking point, but it's now under 100K
Yeah.
average on a weekend in spring, and it's not gonna rebound for the next split. Like I went back and looked at lock-in viewership versus spring split, and it was right around the same for average. So we're looking
Mhm.
at barely hitting 100K, if that, for the North American portions of this league. That's a problem. That's a big, big problem. We're down 30K from last year.
I mean, you get 20 universities across the US and you convince 10% of their student populations to watch League, you're hitting almost 100K.
Yeah,
Like and like 20 universities sounds a lot, but that should be your goal.
yeah,
2 universities per org. Like I know people are like, going to college is blah blah blah, whatever. It's not that fun. It's not that exciting. Picking a location, but at some point in America, I think it's clear you have to have a regional tie. It's just how our brains work here.
Yeah.
It's how we like it. I mean, it's also happening in Europe. They realized much earlier, and they did way better at implementing it, that they needed a regional tie. And I'm not talking about the way Shopify says we represent Toronto. It's
Yeah.
like,
No,
okay,
like as of right
bro,
now, they're like an online
like,
global thing for now.
yeah, like you do have to have a regional tie. I think it helps a lot with giving people like, this is what we represent and this is who we are, blah blah blah. Because it's just how we function.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm shocked none of these teams or all these teams are going to Korea. I mean, it's like, I get boot camping does make you better than not going, right?
Yeah.
Nobody will disagree there. The only thing we're saying is that at some point you have to put getting the name out there and the content above trying to compete,
Yeah.
because competing will come with it. And you might as well compete in this area more than you go boot camping, because honestly, I would say, does boot camping in February and March really equate to something that's going to make you better by October?
I mean, look, they'll probably say yes, and I'm not gonna fight them on that point because like clearly they're doing it for a reason. The entirety of the region's fucking doing it for a reason. I'm not gonna fight that. It's just like teams
Yeah,
are
but do you really keep that skill for 6 extra months of competing
no. I mean, their logic's gonna be
once you
like
come back here? Like,
you keep it when you come back, and like that as a
it
collective,
regresses
everybody
a
is better.
lot, I feel like.
I don't think I'm qualified to
I
comment
I
on
know.
that.
I'm just thinking of natural skill though in any job. Like, think of any job. You go to a seminar,
Yeah.
you learn something, you go back. Like, do you really keep the skills you learned forever?
No, you have to. I mean, yes and no. The underlying knowledge stays there, but it
Yeah.
takes time to implement and practice. You don't go to a seminar to learn a skill that you'll have forever. You go to a seminar to learn something that unlocks your ability to like
Hmm.
increase from there. And it takes time and
Yeah.
effort to go in. Like, for your CPA license, you get like those continuing education credits that you have to do for 40 hours a year. It's not like
Hmm.
I'm going to use much of that information that's there until it's like time for me to actually use it. And then when it's time for me to use it, yeah, like the baseline is there. I'll be able to pick it up a little bit quicker whenever I actually do it in practice. So,
Yeah.
yes, I do think there is a benefit to going to Korea. Like even in my unqualified like gold piss
Yeah.
low
Yeah.
ass, view of it. Yeah, I think there's a benefit. The biggest thing that I would just say is the orgs really need to drill down and like use this stream scrim as like the poster on the wall to be like content is always more
Yep.
important than anything else you're gonna do here. I understand you just want to grind games, but I'm sorry, you can no longer just be a fucking degenerate when you're out here. If you want to go to Korea, you're outside of prep for worlds. If you're prepping for worlds, fine. But if you're going in the off season or you're going now, your number one job when you are out there is to be a fucking content creator.
Hmm.
That is your sole purpose when you are out there. You'll naturally play League of Legends and take it serious to get better. But your job when you are out there is to grow your brand. And if you come, like, I'd be setting objectives with every single one of my players.
Yeah.
What's your social media following right now? You're taking a trip as an American overseas to an area where you should be able to pick up international fandom, which then grows your North American fandom as well.
Mm.
Like, what's your plan? I want to see metrics by the time you get back that show growth as an individual,
Yep.
not just on like your gameplay. Like, solo queue is great, sure. Your scrims will be decent, sure. But like, I want to see your numbers grow.
Yep.
Everybody needs
Because,
to be worried about that right now. We all need to be on the same page.
yeah, pretty much right now, the strategy we've decided to go with is we're going to the seminars, we're getting those extra credits in classes and all this, but we've been doing it for who knows how long, what, 6 years, 8 years, something like that. And we've always stayed below the competition.
Yeah.
Always stayed below our competition. So if you can't beat them, then at least try to get slightly more popular.
Yeah.
Because maybe we're wrong. And the eighth, ninth, or 10th time you go to Korea is finally the one that unlocks an NA team to beat the Koreans. And this is the one thing we needed to finally get there,
Yeah.
which might be it. Who knows? But at this point, all we've seen is all 8 teams go to Korea. All 10 teams, whatever,
Yeah.
they go to Korea. Obviously, not all of you can win and go to Worlds. And some of you have definitively worse rosters than others. Maybe try something different and just try to build your brand at least.
And Nero said most players abandoned building fans once the money came in, and orgs didn't build it up well at the middle to
It's
bot.
fair.
Unlucky.
Yeah.
Look, Con, I understand. Look, okay. God,
Because I'm not saying, and again, we're not saying that going to Korea doesn't make them better.
no,
It
because it definitely
100%
does.
makes them better. It's just that I don't know.
What does that
There's
better
got to
mean?
be a difference.
What does
Yeah.
it mean? It means nothing if you're going to be out in 3 weeks or fucking not
Especially, I mean,
playing.
honestly, like for some of these guys, build a brand because, I mean, you can go to Korea with your team all you want, but if you keep losing and you're on a bottom feeder team already, and your bottom feeder team never wins, like those fans are gonna help you have at least a streaming career
Yeah.
after you get cut.
Yep.
I mean, at the very least. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's tough because I get why all these young guys, or dudes who've been around for a little bit and this is their last chance, want to go to get better to make it. But it's also like, it's just, I don't know, the results haven't
No.
really been there for a while.
Ugh, I don't know. Is there
But
anything?
people are all going to have their different things they love.
Yeah. Yeah.
And right now, you know what we love in LTA North?
Oh God, you're gonna.
Showing it off to 100K people and going to Korea, baby. That's what it is.
Oh God.
Not too shabby.
Okay, I'm gonna address Crawford's final point here, and that'll be the last thing I got to say on the matter. He said, "To be fair, I don't think players need to do content. You can't force someone to build a brand. It's the orgs that should set up a system where they can squeeze some content out of the players they have. But you can, and you should. The reality is the orgs can only do so much, and the orgs definitely could be doing more. I'm not saying they're guilty for or they're guilt free by all means. I'm telling you they should be doing a lot fucking more. But if the players truly can't, like, if the players, I hate to be harsh, but I'm going to be harsh in this situation. If the players are that fucking dumb to see the numbers slipping, to see their contract dollars shrinking, to see the amount of opportunities that they have shrinking, if you're looking at that and you're just thinking in your head, nah, me getting better is going to be the solution to that, you have no fucking brain cells. You don't. If you don't look at that and say, I should probably help turn this around in some way, shape, or form, otherwise it's going to keep dropping, then it's a lost cause. And whether that's, maybe it's too late. Maybe. But I refuse to believe that we can't turn this shit around. I refuse to believe that everybody in the scene is that clueless, that people don't know what they're doing. I know Anero knows this, like, clearly. Like, there are people that do, but, like, Anero can't force, Blabber to vlog 24/7 outside of playing. And, like, you can put it in their contracts, but, like, here's the worst part. Like, for some of these guys, like, you put it in their contract, it's like, okay, you need to put out 12 YouTube videos per year on your own channel if you want to be a part of, like, Cloud9. And they put out the shittiest fucking YouTube videos you've ever seen in your life. It's like, fine, but you don't, like, they put the structure there, and the content. They could have a full-time content staff that are like ready to help them and like try and get them to like understand why it's important. And if they don't want to, if they don't care, they don't fucking care. So it's like, I hate to say it, but it does ultimately. I'm not saying that the middle and bottom teams don't need to do more. Obviously they do, and Narrow has testified or has attested to that in chat. But it ultimately will always come down to the players reading the fucking room and doing what they need to do, which is grow a brand, which helps grow the league, which helps grow their contracts. That's what you have to do. And that should be your number one priority when you are not in scrims or on the Rift, on stage, trying to win. It should all be about getting more people to show up to that stadium, to show up to the streams, to watch you. And that's the most important thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm thinking right now.
God
That's
bless
about where I
FlyQuest for
agree.
streaming scrims this past week.
I know we're in a
God
super. This is
a deep
super
rabbit hole.
echo
Yeah.
chambery, but yeah, that's where I'm at. I think that's the best route you can go.
Yeah.
Right now is we need some people who want to build fandom more aggressively.
Yeah.
Because the competing side, while good, is not enough right now.
Not everybody's quid and can guarantee their spot to Brazil in the first weekend.
Yeah.
I don't make.
I guess that is a good point. That reminds me, going back to what we were originally talking about, is those bottom teams. Like, why? I just don't get why a team who's not playing for 2 months would go to Korea right now.
Oh, I. Here's the thing. If you told me that DSG is going over to Korea to like do content with like T1 and Damwon and all that,
Yeah.
then I'd be like, fuck yeah, go to Korea, brother. Do your thing. Keep going. Give me a content. Give me a video, 2 videos a week, every week while you're over there. Streams and such. Like, give me stream highlight clips as well that go on like the Disguise like main channel or like individual channels. If you can commit to that, fuck yeah, go over and do it. But the reason why we can't understand it is because that's obviously never happened.
True. That is true. I mean, it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Because it feels like for them, maybe like you spend now until mid-March or like early March doing content here and then go to Korea before the season, and try to ramp up with everybody else
Yep.
around more towards those like actual timers, but it is what it is.
We did our predictions. We talked about LCK.
Well, we didn't predict who will win
Oh,
Dig
2-0.
Fly.
Fly. I'm
Yeah, I'm in the
I'm
same
not
boat.
wasting a fucking breath on
Sucks.
it.
I'm not getting any points back.
I will say this on LEC. Thank fucking God best of ones are over. Holy shit, our
True.
best of one's terrible to watch now. Dude, I can't do it. I cannot do it. On like a domestic regional league, watch best of ones and sit here and claim to be entertained. I cannot do it. It's wild how best of threes have ruined me from best
You
of
don't
ones.
like best of ones at all?
Fucking hate them. They're useless.
They're
so useless.
Strong opinion.
It's so like it's
I hear
shit
you,
to
though.
watch. It's shit
It
to
is.
watch compared to a best of 3. I'd rather watch my team get stomped 0-2 in a best of 3 all day than watch 2 best of ones over 2 days.
Well, you're not seeing that much these days, but you used to.
We will next split.
What do you mean you will next split?
Best of ones? We got best of ones in NA next
Oh,
split.
best of ones. I thought you were talking about your team getting stomped in best of threes.
Oh
and I
no,
was like,
never happens. That never happens. What do you mean?
I was
When
like,
was the last time we
next
lost a
split?
best of series? 2024? Lol. Could be fucking
Yeah.
us.
I mean, you guys made it look good.
We did. Now, if only
In
Riot could
summer.
keep us in the league. That's the goal.
Too
Dude,
hard.
it'd be tragic if we qualify for first stand. And then they come out immediately afterwards like, hey, Team Falcons has bought the spot. So 500 Thieves.
Dude, I think they're actually going to do that, though.
I'm gonna be so
Are
pissed.
you scared they are?
Yeah. Dude,
I'm kind of
there's a
nervous for you.
reason why I'm out here like publicly pushing as hard as I fucking can for that non-equity partner slot.
Dude, you love using that right now.
It's a good term. That's like
It's a
easy to
very
stick
good
on.
term to try to convince them, but it's been
Non-equity partner.
hilarious. You going, not equity partner.
Not
You
it.
know you want it. You know you like it. And Riot's just hearing you say that and going,
What do you need 10 million for? Honest to God, what the fuck does Riot need 10 million for?
I don't know, so they can take another 10 million from teams and then not do anything in North America and say, well,
Here.
they're hosting Worlds though soon, so maybe they need it for that.
Nah. I will outright say it. If Riot takes any fucking money for an LTA slot right now, they're robbing somebody. They're straight like
Well,
it should be
yeah.
considered fraud that is able to be investigated by the SEC.
I think if you're every other org, to be honest, why haven't you just tried to get your money back?
Everybody should. There should be no fucking equity in this anymore.
Like, is it really worth having that much money just sitting there for a guaranteed slot?
Oh, dude, it's so fucking
Could
like
you not reinvest that money
the thing is
as
like
an org?
I mean
I'm sure they
they
just like
could.
extra stipend. Have some people's like stipend gone above what they paid already?
I don't think so.
I don't know how much the stipends are. Oh,
Sorry, Emily's calling me. Give me one sec.
no, it's fine. I've prepared my whole life for this. I think if you're Riot, you sell the slot to Team Falcons. Hear me out, people. You sell the slot to Team Falcons. We let the Saudis just dump a bunch of money in. We don't tell them where it's going. We just take the money. And then, we maybe use that money to help with this event, help with that event. We tell Falcons, actually, the fee's gone up. We don't know what happened. Your fee's gone up. 20 million. 20 million to get a slot. And we use that money. We really structure things in LTA. We build, we climb, we soar on Falcons' wings, and we rise to the top. Now, does anyone have to like their team? No, they're not paying to be viewed. They're not paying to be enjoyed. They're paying to help us get better. And that's about it. That's what we do. We basically scam them, and that's okay. You're scamming Saudis, so it's fair, I think, personally. Ocelot did it. Nobody's mad at him. Well, people are mad at him, but
I was gonna say
nobody's mad at him.
What are we like? I don't think anybody's mad at him scamming the Saudi part, but I think everybody's mad at him for a myriad of other different reasons, many of which valid.
I like Con's point too. We blame tariffs for why it's 20 million. That's pretty smart.
That actually
We
brilliant.
say,
Yeah, we put a
that's
tariff. We put a
genius.
$10 million tariff on the
Yeah.
slot, so it's $20 million.
That's genius. Well, I mean, which team are we willing to say? Honestly, I say we sell Dig, and we keep up. Just keep everything else, but sell Dig spot. Unless Dig, I shouldn't say that joke, but I might say that joke.
Say it. Do it.
The only way we don't sell Dig spot is if they write us a very large reason. Like, I want massive paragraphical reasoning for why we should keep Dig in the LTA Discord. Only way we keep Dig over Falcons.
I'm just glad that you've moved on from trying to get 100 Thieves to have that spot. I'm glad you've settled on Dig as like the org of choice.
Well, because like 100 Thieves, I think they're actually decent for the league.
I agree.
Like, for all the fans they have.
Well,
I mean, I'm not saying like
Rendezvous viewership this week. Pick back up.
Yeah, because you're winning.
Yeah, I know.
And I mean, it's either lose or win. If you guys lose or win, being in the middle is the worst thing that could happen for you.
Yep.
But losing or winning hard is so good for you. And it's good. And I think 100 Thieves fans respond decently to content stuff. So
Yeah.
why wouldn't you keep them around? I feel like when have you ever heard like people go, man, the Dig fans are responding? I mean,
Well, I
ever?
mean, they're responding to the treatment, but well, technically
Yeah.
not responding, but
Oh man. I mean, they're snoozing. They've
they're
been
they're
snoozing since they
they're
rejoined.
they're snoozing permanently if they go to dig.
Okay. Yeah, depends. Well, that's more European.
Swedish to be exact.
Yeah. This is LTA Dignitas.
True.
We
It's amazing.
can't
Every time we
even.
have a watch party or we have like some sort of event, I always pull that trick out.
You do.
Yeah, because so many people don't know. And I always like every time it's like, you can't look up Dignitas, right? They're like, what do you mean? I pull it up on YouTube. They're like,
Yeah.
no. And I explain to them the lore. They're like, they need to
Yeah.
change that. I was like, welcome to what I've been saying for such a long
Yep.
period of time.
I was about to say like this is LTA Dig. They make life worth living, but they don't. So it's not even a good phrase to use for them.
Oh
Like it's not
no.
even fun to watch.
Oh
So
no. Oh.
there's just not a good slogan for Dig.
I mean,
Khan saw
they could
a
fully embrace it.
Dignitas fan in the LTA Discord. Was his name start with a Bay and end with a Curry? Like that's the only one I've seen.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Like unless you're a paid employee, I don't think I see anybody talk about Dig.
No,
It's like in a good way.
I have no clue what's going on with them. They've had two series. I wonder what YouTube content have they put out?
I mean, I'm sure they've put out some. Sylvex
Have they?
makes a lot.
How much? What's it done in viewership? Let's find
Oh, I forgot about
Dignitas. LOL.
Healy being the Make America Dig again. Big Dig summer.
Oh, that's rough.
Well, if you're gonna talk about viewership, do not look at my teams.
Okay, so they've put out Dignitas X Root, like a minute and 13 long like ad thing, I think. Which I'm assuming it's got 6.8K views. I don't know if they like paid for like ads or something on it to boost it. They put out their voice comms a week ago and it has 734 views.
That's good. I think that's about where Shopify is sitting too.
Now, YouTube viewership in general is down. This rendezvous video is going to be the first video that I've had that's hit 6 figures in like 2 weeks. The rest have flirted around like 8 to 900. So I mean, like I'm just barely above them myself. So it's not like I have like all the most room to be talking, but like I'm also doing my shit for free, and they're paying people to do it. So
True.
and my my TikTok content has been doing quite well. So there's that. Somehow a video explaining my last name was the one that like really took off this week. Oh god. David, next coaching session when? I don't know. But okay, anything else we want to talk about? Anything that we've forgotten around the Lowly sports world? I addressed the reckless stuff before we got on stream. I don't want to talk about it here. I don't want to platform.
I don't have much to say about that one.
I don't want to platform the guy. Not reckless, but the other guy. Don't think this guy's climbing it. Well, fuck you too, an arrow. Jesus Christ. I hope you enjoyed that L on Sunday. Hope that tasted good. Very soothing on the tongue.
They're just all going to say they didn't care, they didn't have enough rest, whatever. Blah,
Same way that I don't care about my rank, but what's your excuse there?
Fair.
Yeah. Can't even. Croco, if you want to see it, go on the YouTube VOD. It'll be like at the very beginning. But I don't want to platform it. But I'm trying to think. Is there anything else in League?
Anything else in League that we haven't touched
Yeah.
on? I mean, bro,
Oh,
we've
the
been going
skin
for
stuff is some bullshit, but that's yeah.
a minute. What skin stuff?
Oh, just the new like skin 101, some fucking weird ass shit.
Oh.
And then no Clash still. We have like Clash is non-existent. We're in February now, no updates, no nothing.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I haven't really been paying attention to Clash because I'm prepping for the baby, so
Oh,
for me it
you
doesn't
having a
matter.
family.
Yeah. Not to not to brag, but I'm making one more Shopify Rebellion fan.
Growing it one by one.
Literally one by one. Hey, I don't know. I just think a lot of these places need to get on my level of trying, you know?
Yeah.
I'm literally creating fans. Like actually creating them. So I
He
don't
put
know.
in the
Well,
work,
I'm not
okay?
making
He
it.
put in 30
Okay.
seconds of hard work to make
Yeah.
that fan. All right?
Well, you're generous, but thank you. I appreciate that.
Incoming Blue Chew partnership.
Yeah.
Oh god. Oh fuck. Jesus Christ. We gotta work on that. We gotta work on that game, brother.
It's fine.
I mean, it's effective. I can't argue with
Yeah,
that. You
it
got the
is what
job
it
done.
is. It's, I mean, it's all falling apart, but it's fine.
Oh no. Okay. I think that's it. We've been live for 2 hours. I don't really think anything else. Anything else to say? You go enjoy your cuck chair.
Yeah, I mean, I'm about to go get some Oreos and eat them in the cuck chair, so.
This is great. Alright.
I'm actually not even gonna eat them. I'm gonna set the Oreos on the bed and imagine somebody eating them.
Now you gotta slowly crawl to him like baby. Did you see the movie Baby Girl?
No.
Oh, go see Baby Girl.
Okay.
Alright. That's it for our stream. Thanks for tuning in. I will probably be live tomorrow and Friday maybe. I'm not 100% certain on what my weekend plans are going to be like. No stream on Sunday for the LTA. Definitely will try and stream on Saturday during the day. Beyond that, that's pretty much it. Teams, stream your scrims.